It is week number 4 of the high school football season, and tonight, the Beavers of Riverside make the short trek down to Titletown to take on your Chardon Hilltoppers. How you doing, everyone? Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you as we get you set for this one here from Chardon Memorial. And Ryan, Toppers come in 3-0 on the season, and they got a huge victory last week against Youngstown Ursuline. They want to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, they really do. It was a big night to begin with. You open the stadium with the new scoreboard, the new turf. You have a huge crowd back. The Chardon Crazies are back, and you jump out to that 33-0 lead, and then Ursuline almost comes all the way back, but you survive. So you get an idea to really come together as a unit. We have talked early in the season about all the graduations. Here's something. You survived that together, something you could build on. And then for a kicking unit that has had its issues, they can build off of the last time they lined up on the night. 39-yard field goal. Not technically a game winner, but the way it spread the game out by 2 scores ended any chance Ursuline had of getting back into it. So that's a huge win against a really good team, and now you can take that momentum into what's a really good rivalry game to start Western Reserve Conference play.
And make no mistake about it, the Hilltoppers did make a number of mistakes last week against Ursuline, which they were talking about throughout the week in practice. Not turning the ball over from an offensive standpoint, reducing the amount of penalties. It was certainly a big win, but a win that they could walk away from and look at it from a learning perspective as how can they get better. Tonight, they're going to face a team that has probably run this offense here against the Hilltoppers more than anybody else in practice, and that's Riverside with Dave Boris, who coached here at Chardon for a little bit before he went on to become the head coach at West G and then Riverside, where he's been for a while. Him and Mitch, friends. Mitch was his D coordinator for a number of years, so not only do the two programs, the coaches know one another, but the schools being so close together, it makes for a wonderful rivalry.
It does, and you mentioned something that Coach Hewitt mentioned when I talked to him before the game, and that was, they've practiced against each other, you know what I'm saying? So, Coach Hewitt was saying, Ursuline's scout team has never run our offense before, but at Riverside, they run our offense all the time. So you're going to run into a team that's much different, and that's why when you look at the history of this rivalry, there are years where Chardon will come in better and Riverside will steal a win. In other years, Riverside will come in better and Chardon will steal a win. These teams just know each other so well. The coaches know each other very well. It's a great rivalry. It's always a lot of fun.
Folks, going to be a fun night ahead. We're going to take a timeout and step aside because it's youth football night, so stick around for that here on GTV.
For over 40 years, Chardon Youth Football competes in the Great Lakes Youth Football League against familiar Hilltopper rivals such as Riverside, Willoughby, and Eastlake. Please turn your attention to the northwest corner of the stadium as we welcome the outstanding young athletes of Chardon Youth Football. First in the A Division, the Chanticleers head coach Dan Cole and the Chanticleer cheerleaders. The Gladiators head coach Eric Ellis and the Gladiator cheerleaders. The Red Raiders head coach Alan Bosiacki and the Red Raider cheerleaders. Next, the B Division, the Hilltoppers head coach Kelly Elig and the Hilltopper cheerleaders. The Spartans head coach Clayton Kovacs and the Spartan cheerleaders. And the C Division, the Chardon Red Team and head coach Tim Klein. The Chardon Black Team and head coach Mark Allen. And the Knights, their head coach is Chris Gaspar. Please join together for a round of applause for our Hilltopper Youth football players. Ladies and gentlemen, Chardon High School, through its athletic department, welcomes you to Memorial Stadium, the home of the Hilltoppers, as they take on the Riverside Beavers in a Western Reserve Conference matchup. Riverside High School and Chardon High School are members of the Ohio High School Athletic Association and abide by high standards of conduct, competition, and relations with member schools. The athletes in this game are friendly rivals, and while play may be fierce, all in attendance tonight are reminded that this is a game between young adults and that sporting behavior is expected. The officials assigned to this game have been selected and assigned according to the procedures adopted by the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Tonight's officials are referee Kevin Sulecki, umpire Ronald Bate, linesman Fred Rebelli, line judge Tim Ward, and back judge Mike Baricchio. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, introducing the 2021 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. The band is being led onto the field by senior drum major Joseph Joquin. The Hilltopper Marching Band would like to give a big shout out to Amy Roediger, band uniform mom extraordinaire, and her crew for getting everyone successfully into uniforms for the first time in 2 years. Thank you very much, uniform moms. All right, Topper fans, put your hands together for the Chardon High School fight song. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for a special announcement? Tomorrow marks the 20th anniversary of an attack on our democracy. The lives of all Americans were forever changed on 9/11/2001. In memory of the lives lost that day, please join in a moment of silence. Thank you. Would you now please remain standing, and gentlemen, remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem, and remain standing for the Chardon High School alma mater. If you've watched football on television, you've heard this high-powered and explosive theme song. Here is the NFL on Fox. All right, Hilltoppers, put your hands together for the Hey song.
And here come your defending state champion, Chardon Hilltoppers. Welcome back, everyone. Chardon Memorial, Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you. And Ryan, special night here in Chardon as the Hilltoppers getting set to take on the Riverside Beavers in what should be an entertaining contest. Thus keeping track at home, by the way, it was Hayden Semler and TJ Altman bringing up the American flags, and then Heath Fetchick with the pickaxe tonight.
And Matt is keeping the stats on that until the end of the year. We'll keep you posted. Special night on the field for the, big game, always a fun rivalry. But I just want to say, it's always a special night when the youth programs get to be in the stadium, and it's youth night here tonight. Before the game, all the youth teams got to run out on the field and get announced and have everyone cheer for them, and it's fun for them to get to watch the high school players play. And it also is a real cool thing for the high school players to get to interact with the youth. It's a real great community building thing, always fun on youth night as well.
Absolutely, and obviously one day before the 20th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks, and Chardon Crazies certainly showing their patriotism tonight, decked out in the red, white, and blue, waving the beautiful American flag. So great to see.
Yeah, it's great to see them do that on 9/11, because things that people our age forget, it's history for all the students here. None of them were alive yet when that day happened. So it's great to see that they still want it to be a day that they remember and appreciate. And they're in the red, white, and blue tonight over there in the student section.
Well, this is a huge game for both of these squads entering tonight, because it is the beginning of Western Reserve Conference play, Ryan. Of course, the Hilltoppers, the defending WRC champions, they ran through the slate last year, of course, when undefeated on the way to that state title. At this point of the season, checking in at 3-0, and they have a very formidable opponent on the other side of the field in Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside, a team coming in at 2-1. Tough loss week 1 to Perry. A lot of teams lose to Perry. That happens. They bounced back with a big win against a Holy Name team that made a deep playoff run last year. That Holy Name team probably not as deep this year as they were last year, but still a quality win there. And then they got a big win, last week as well. So they're building and gaining that momentum. Is Riverside as they head into this matchup. And we talked about it before. These two teams know each other so well, but it's going to be really like looking in a mirror, because what's similar about both these teams is they dominate time of possession. You look at Riverside, they've held the ball for about an hour and a half this year. Their opponents only for 51 minutes. So both teams kind of have the same mindset. We want to control the ball, control time of the possession, limit mistakes, force turnovers. So it's like looking in a mirror for these two teams tonight.
Well, and the team that will be starting off with the ball first is your Chardon Hilltoppers. Sun, bear in mind, folks, hopefully we'll be setting in the next 45 minutes or so, making it a little bit easier on us here.
We just needed to get behind that tree line.
Exactly. Liebhart and Bruce back to return. Of course, it was Bruce who began the game with a huge return down near the 20-yard line against Ursuline. That I got a feeling he's now going to be a marked man the rest of the year from all these other teams, showing a lot of speed in that return. Sean Kerwood, by the way, set to kick it off for Riverside. The junior, 5'10", 150. He will handle all the punting and kicking duties for Dave Boris's squad. Officials are ready. Everybody's set to go. And with that, the game begins. Ball will be fielded near the 10. Left side 20. 25, 30, 35, 40. To midfield. One man to beat. Down to the 30. The 20. The 10. Into the house. Touchdown, Toppers.
Well, they got off to a fast start a week ago, and Trey Liebhart with a huge return up that sideline gets them off to a really fast start today, and the Hilltoppers off and running at home.
A 90-yard touchdown return by Trey Liebhart. And boy, Trey, we haven't seen him much offensively the last couple weeks because they needed him on defense. But showing his speed right there and how dangerous of a playmaker he really is.
We saw in week 1 that Trey Liebhart is a home run hitter and can be on the offensive side of the ball. But you're right, his lockdown work on defense kind of keeps him off that side of the ball. But there you saw a home run to start the game.
And Ryan, he just went down the left side, really no cuts. He just turned it on. Nathan Tagger out to attempt the PAT. It is up and it is good. So with 11:46 left to go here in the first quarter, no offensive plays have happened yet, and the Hilltoppers enjoying a 7-0 lead.
Well, tonight's special cablecast is funded by your cable subscriber franchise fees, and we'd like to again extend thanks to all the GTV funding communities, including those not funding tonight's contest, for the year-round support. They are Burton Village, Chardon Township, the City of Chardon, Middlefield Village, and Munson Township. Thanks again for supporting GTV, and thanks to all the viewers for their support. Well, yeah, you talked about Trey Liebhart. I mean, he just a jet down the sideline, ran by everyone, and he was gone. The game a year ago between these two teams, Matt, at Riverside, if you remember, that game was really close in the first half. Riverside hung tough. Chardon wore him down in that third quarter and pulled away. A little bit different here with the Hilltoppers jumping out to the 7-0 lead.
Well, it puts the pressure on the Beavers who, much like Chardon, they lost a lot of talent last year to graduation. They're returning a young team with a lot of juniors on the squad, but it's a team that you're going to see this. They've got 2 QBs. One's a junior, one's a sophomore. And they are not afraid to throw the football, as judged by the stats. Coach Boers told us he's going to be going with that. They'll be roughly coming in and out every quarter. He doesn't like doing it every series, but if somebody's got a hot hand, he's going to stick with them until that hand cools down.
Yeah, and it gives opposing defenses something to think about because the two quarterbacks are different styles, so you really have to know who's out there and what the game plan is.
Tagger with the kickoff and putting it into the end zone, no doubt about that one. It was great having a chance to talk with Nathan last week after the game and just hearing him talk about the mindset of that field goal he made in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no stranger to huge kicks. The game-winning kick in the state championship game, obviously not to that level, but definitely the biggest kick of this season so far for him. And we talked about at the time, game changer. To make it a 9-point game there, and also really big for that kicking unit because they had 2 missed PATs earlier in the game. But they come together as a unit, and they're able to put that field goal when they needed it most. And last week was about that a lot. The defense stepping up and getting picks when they needed it most. The kicking team stepping up, getting that field goal when it was needed the most.
Riverside will spend the night realistically going with 4 wideouts and a running back. They'll mix it up from time to time with maybe 2 running backs, but I can tell you, Boers likes to spread the field with what he does, and he's not afraid to give the receivers the ball and run with it. Simpson going to hand it off. No, he's going to keep it going right side, and he is stuffed. Linebackers got to him. They did not allow Cameron Simpson to do anything, so the junior, 5'10", 173, he wears number 6. Stuffed for no gain on the first run. We're going to see for Riverside up front, Carter Rudler, Nick Lulo, Nico Jimenez, Nick Messenger, and Raj Singh. Wide receivers tonight, Mike Tromba, Aaron Conwell, Brady McKnight, and Jake Ely. As I mentioned, Cameron Simpson, the starting QB, and Dominic Tromba will be the lead back. They will hand the ball off coming near side, and that's McKnight. Tries to cut it up, gains a few yards there. Nice turn by McKnight as he's wrapped up and eventually brought down by the Hilltoppers. That time making the stop was Zoran Vujeklia, who's in tonight in place of Brody Dotson.
You'll see McKnight more on the goal line a lot. Just 12 attempts so far this year, but 3 touchdowns, averaging about 5 yards per attempt. So they like to get him the ball with a chance to score.
Hilltoppers tonight, we're going to be seeing up front the big boys, McDonald, Michael Washington, Cooper Fegler, and TJ Altman. Linebackers, Keith Fetchik, Zorn Vujeklia, and Ryan Peterson. In the secondary, Trey Liebhart, Nathaniel Salka, Leo Columbi, and A.J. Bruce. They go to the ground and pick up the first down as Dominic Tromba runs straight ahead up near the 35-yard line for the first down.
Zoran Vujeklia getting an opportunity to get the start out at middle linebacker tonight for the Hilltoppers.
So a first down for Riverside. They will have the ball from the 35-yard line.
We talked about in pregame that Riverside, much like Chardon, a team that likes to really hold on to the ball, dominate time of possession. If Chardon scores in 10 seconds, I think Riverside will take that. That's kind of how they like the game to go.
Cameron Simpson around the left end 40, near the 43-yard line near side, bit shy of a first down.
Sampson has picked up 95 yards on 18 carries on the ground this year, running from that quarterback position.
Beavers will line up 2nd down and 2 now from the 43. From the gun, Simpson makes a nice cut, but he will not get back, or he will get back to the line of scrimmage, I beg your pardon. Picked up a yard, but he will be 1 yard short and bring up 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, Simpson was able to elude Michael Washington in the backfield, but then only picking up a yard as that Hilltopper defense swarmed, and first big 3rd down opportunity for this defense today.
Riverside going without 6 of their regulars tonight on both sides of the football combined due to illness. But they are hoping to make the most of it. Handoff, Tromba. Check that was Simpson who took it right side and is very close to the 1st down marker.
With the naked eye, he's short from both officials. So we'll see if Coach Boers has an aggressive streak in him here to just fall forward on 4th and short and try to pick up the 1st down.
They're going for it. Simpson lining up under center, Tromba behind him, and Simpson going to push ahead. He picks up the 1st down. The old goose and go.
Good push by the offensive line up front, too, because he didn't just fall forward. They picked up a couple yards there. As everyone stands up and you look down there, I see Nick Messenger, the big senior offensive lineman, helping to lead the way there.
Well, Riverside went for it. They got the 1st down, and now they have a 1st and 10 from the 46 as they work their way right to left across your TV screen. Cameron Simpson from the gun. Man going in motion, that's McKnight. They're instead going to hand it off, and going straight up the gut near the midfield mark was Tromba.
Yeah, getting that ball in there to Tromba. He is the lead rusher on this team this year. He's picking up about 80 yards per game, about 5.5 per carry. He has 3 touchdown scores himself, but he will carry the load when it comes to the ground game for the Beavers.
2nd and 2 from their own 48. From the gun, Tromba at his right, McKnight in motion. They're going to pitch at McKnight coming around the right side. McKnight cutting the corner, and McKnight around the 50 out near the 47 where he will be shy of the 1st down.
But still, this option offense, and you look down there, and very good at running it there is Simpson. So you get the toss that time to the outside, you switch the side of the field that you've been running to, and you're able to pick up about 5 yards, and Riverside is just fine moving the ball down the field at this pace.
3rd and 3 from the Topper 47. Pistol formation for Simpson. 2 receivers left, 1 right. We'll hand it off. Tromba looking to go around the right side. Stopped. And it will bring up another 4th down and short situation.
Good play over there on the far side of the field to get the stop by the Hilltoppers. Now this is a little bit longer. This is still back at 4th and 3, and it looks like they're going to bring the punt unit out onto the field.
Now they want to now pin Chardon deep. Though, of course, last week we did see Ursuline go with the fake punt out of their end zone.
You never know. You're at midfield. You've already been aggressive once and gone for it on 4th down on this drive.
They are not. Great punt by Kerwood. That is sky high. Will take a Chardon bounce and come backwards and touched up near, I think that's the 25. That's where Chardon will take over.
So not quite able to, you're really hoping in that situation when you're punting from around field, you can get the Hilltoppers backed up inside the 15 and not able to get it there. So, one thing, Riverside didn't score, but they ate up about 6 minutes of clock there, Matt. We're already halfway through the first quarter. I'm sure they would have loved to score. Let's see how the Hilltoppers respond now to that Riverside drive.
Well, the one thing that they have to be cautious about is not giving up a score here and going down 2 at this stage of the game. Alex Henry, the junior, 6'3", 195 under center. He will take it himself, and Henry, not much running room there. He has some good offensive linemen up front doing the blocking, including Adam Jackson, Simon Rodriguez, Aiden Itchy, Logan Bryant, and TJ Altman. Tight end is Alex McDonald. We'll see Nathaniel Salka out of that wide receiver position. And the running backs, we have a whole staple of them, but we'll see guys like Rocco Perico, Sean Carr, Daniel Pettyjohn, Trey Liebhart, to name a few. Going in motion, gives the Pettyjohn, making a nice cut around the right side, 40. Pettyjohn 45, midfield 50 before he stepped out of bounds.
Stepped out of bounds right around midfield. Sean Carr throws a block to help open up that drive, and that's a great run by Pettyjohn to move the chains. It's kind of hard to believe, Matt. We're already almost 7 minutes in. That was only the second offensive play for the Hilltoppers tonight, but that was a big one.
Well, when you return the opening kickoff for a touchdown, that will do it too.
Yes, it will.
Ryan Peterson enters the game. Now, Toppers will go 3 wideouts to the left. Sean Carr, the only back in the backfield. And Carr has it, will go left side near the 45 and pick up a few yards.
Yeah, go out and put 3 wideouts out there. Give the Riverside defense something else to look at early. Let them have that in the back of their mind for the rest of the game now. And you pick up 5 yards, too, which is kind of Sean Carr's specialty, right? Give him the ball, he'll pick up 4 or 5.
He just, make no mistake about it, loves to blow up the line in scrimmage, make contact, and knock people down.
And he makes picking up 4 or 5 yards at a time look relatively easy compared to how easy it actually is.
They will pitch it, man going in motions, Pettyjohn, and Pettyjohn gets through the first line, but not the second, as he's close to the 41.
Yeah, he really, I mean, that play looked like it was going to end in the backfield, and he really did a good job to fight through that and drag some defenders. Looks like it was Troy Reuter who got back there, but still, Pettyjohn able to get it up to 3rd down and 2 on a nice, strong run. And as we get into week 4, Matt, we're starting to see Pettyjohn really start to settle in the backfield there.
Pettyjohn, Carr, and Ryan Peterson are your backs. The fake, he'll dump it off to Carr. Carr going to be brought down very quickly by Jason Ryan for a loss on that play.
Yeah, great work there by Jason Ryan. Sean Carr was his assignment. He stayed with him the whole time, and he was able to get the stop. The Hilltoppers actually lose a couple yards on that play. That was a really good defensive play by Jason Ryan.
So it's 4th down and 4 for Chardon from the 43, and they will bring out the, I think it's the punting unit, but that's Nathan Tagger out there, and it's usually Sean McDonald who's doing the, or excuse me, Alex McDonald who's doing the punting. Now coming in Sean Carr.
And Tagger is backing up to punt.
He did some punting last year. High kick. Going to take a bounce and come back around the 28 and 29 yard line.
So a net 14 on that punt. Both teams trying to play the field position game here, and in the early going, a lot in the middle of the field. And Matt, if you look at the stats for these two teams and you look at how they like to play, I think you could have expected to see this in the early going. A lot of things happening in the middle of the field, not so much happening down by the end zones yet.
Well, the one thing that this Hilltopper defense wants to do right now is come in and get a stop. Maybe a turnover. They had quite a few turnovers in the first half last week, 3 to be precise, and they added a few more on later in the second half. Simpson trying to go around the left end, could not do it. A lot of red shirts there in the backfield. Washington, the last guy to get off the pile.
Washington was in on that. Fetchick was in on that as well, as he came into the backfield and really got to Simpson. He was fortunate to get back to the line.
Was handed a note earlier today from our cameraman Chris Graw, and I didn't realize this, but Mike Washington is the nephew of former Chardon nose tackle and Northeast Ohio Defensive Player of the Year, and Bill Washington, who went on to play football Division I at Dartmouth. And Bill and the family listening tonight, so Appreciate you tuning in, Bill. That pass going nowhere on the right side.
Ran a little screen route there as Simpson got the ball out to Brady McKnight, but the linebackers for the Hilltoppers were right in there to get the stop, and McKnight did pick up a couple, but you're right, not much going. 3rd and long here for Riverside.
Hilltopper defense right where they want the Badgers. Or excuse me, the Beavers. 3 wideouts to the left, including twins at the hash. They're going to do a draw play. Toppers prepared for it and cut off Tromba before he could get to the first down marker. He will be stopped near the 36-yard line.
Well, you know, we talk about it all the time. They're ball hawks out there, so yeah, initially the draw was effective and they picked up 5 yards, but Fetchick was able to get back there, get the stop, prevent Riverside from picking up the first down, just found the football and got to it and made the stop.
4th and 3, and Sean Kerwood coming back out. Boy, he had a heck of a punt the last time out. Just took a bad bounce and came back towards Chardon's favor. High kick. Fair catch called for it. Fetchick couldn't handle it. Looks like he was able to... No, he did not fall on top of it. Riverside says they got it, and they do. So Riverside gets the first turnover of the ball game inside the 30-yard line. And all of a sudden, the Beavers have new life with 51 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, you know, your defense just did a great job. You got you a 3 and out after giving up a few first downs on the first drive. And, you know, Fetchick, Matt, he called for that fair catch. He's kind of looked away from the football, didn't have his feet in a nice set position, and, you know, he wasn't able to handle it. Football is all about the fundamentals when you're down there, and even on a simple fair catch, the fundamentals come into play.
Well, Cameron Simpson from the gun will hand it off up the middle. And Tromba picked up a good chunk of yards right there on that carry.
Pickup of about 4, and, you know, last week, turnovers came up for Chardon, you know, against a really good Ursuline team. Those things do happen in football sometimes, but here you go a week later in the first quarter, another turnover, putting Riverside in really good position.
This might be, if it's not a pass play, the very last play we see here of the first quarter. Clock under 15 seconds and running. Simpson snaps or claps his hands, looking to pass, will throw the ball toward the corner of the end zone, well over everybody's head, incomplete. So they'll have to run one more play.
There was good coverage down there, but that ball was just overthrown, trying to pop it up into the corner. But I think the overthrow was the smart call because, again, coverage was really good. We've talked about the lockdown work by the Hilltopper secondary this year, and difficult to make that pass play against this Hilltopper defense.
4 seconds to go here before the first quarter comes to an end. It is 3rd down and 7 now from the Chardon 24-yard line. Simpson feeling some pressure, steps up. He's brought down in the backfield. Great sack, Rocco Perico, and he had a little bit of help.
Yeah, Rocco Perico got the stop. Mario Tolo was coming from the other side, and Tolo helped make sure there was no way for Simpson to go, and then Perico was able to come in and get that sack.
With that, the first quarter comes to an end. Toppers up 7-0. We'll take a timeout here on GTV. Welcome back, everyone. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you here. Toppers up 7-0. And now it's a 4th and 12 situation for Riverside. They've got their offense out on the field. And the officials, not sure what they're signaling something up to the press box.
Well, this is an obvious 4-down situation where you are on the field, so you're going to go for it. But you know, this is what happens. They took a shot for the end zone. They had it incomplete. Then you take a sack, and you're sitting at 4th and long. You're a team that normally likes to, move the football in increments at a time, but you made the aggressive play. You wanted to try to get a touchdown before the end of the quarter, but that kind of sets you back in the series then, and you end up facing a 4th and 12.
Now everybody, at least the officials, are finally ready here. Topper defense looking for a big stop here to get the ball back to the offense. Simpson looking to throw the ball up toward the right side. It is batted away, incomplete. Salka over there to get the stop.
Well, that was a fantastic pass breakup down there because the receiver initially got away and was open, and Salka had to get back in there to make that, and he just swatted that ball away. Great play by him. The Riverside offensive line did a good job to absorb the Chardon pass rush, give Simpson a chance to make the throw, but once again, it highlights the Hilltopper secondary.
I'll tell you what, though. I don't know if I'd be throwing a jump ball in the vicinity of Nathaniel Salka.
Like I said, it was the receiver did get away. It was an open look. That wasn't a jump ball. Salka just made a great play to get back in there and swat it.
Henry from the gun, going to hand it off. Pettyjohn trying to get around the end. No, pushed out of bounds. Good coverage on the play by Ryan. Well, Jason Ryan, nice linebacker, junior, 6'2", 205. He gets around the end pretty quick to cut them off.
Yeah, he's made a couple of nice plays, and you get the feeling his job tonight is to make sure he's the one who's following the ball on those sweep plays, and he's done that a couple times now, and he just closed that quarter. Pettyjohn had nowhere to go. And, Jason Ryan is a junior down there, 6'2", 205. He's got a good build and plays a good linebacker.
Carr and Pettyjohn to the left and right of Henry, and look to throw to Salka, who couldn't make the catch. They're going to say incomplete. Was close to being a lateral, but the official right on top of it says incomplete. First time since the Buchtel game that Salka has been targeted.
Yeah, and that ball was a little bit overthrown. Drew Fisher defensively was in the area. I don't know if trying to throw the ball around him, but Salka is a big target. That ball is just a little bit out of his reach.
So now Chardon faces a 3rd and long situation. Caden Dawson in the game as a split end. Twins to the right with Peterson. Pettyjohn in motion. Henry going to look to take it himself. And Henry stopped in the backfield. Boy, the Beavers linebackers getting in quick, and that time, I think it might have been Colin Fairbanks, the defensive end, who made the stop.
Yeah, I was trying to see down there. I think it might have been 88, Alex Malakar, who's a defensive lineman who was back there in the backfield. But either way, it was another nice play. And, Chardon's score came on on the kick return to start the game. The offense hasn't really been able to get much going yet. The Riverside defense has been very tough. And Riverside right now owns time of possession in this game, which is exactly what the Beavers want.
Tagger out to punt the football. Gets it off this time. It's a long, high kick. Will be fielded around the 30 and bringing it up near the, we'll say, 36, 37-yard line is the return man for Riverside, Jake Ely.
Yeah, nice return there by the junior to pick up. Well, he picked up that ball at the 30, and they're spotting him all the way up at the so it's a little better spot than we initially thought. He's all the way up at the 39-yard line, so he returned that about 10 yards. Good play by Ely there.
Well, as the sun is setting here, fans might be able to see a little bit more clearly. A few more minutes to go.
And then it's going to get chilly.
New QB into the game for Riverside. It's Mikey Maloney, who likes to pass the football. They will hand it off that time. Tromba between the tackles, and Tromba picks up a few yards.
And you look, and this is what we talked about. Two different styles at quarterback really gives the defense something to think about. So now defensively, and I don't have to tell everyone, the Hilltoppers are well coached. They're aware. Change your mindset, different quarterback out there. Remember the approach that you need to have now.
Maloney claps his hands, looking to pump fake, throws it over the middle, incomplete. Salka there to break it up, had some tight coverage. Also there was Rocco Perico as well.
It was like he pulled the string and threw that along a zip line a little too much. It hit his receiver in the chest, and I just don't think there was enough touch on it, but he was able to zip that in there pretty well. Brings up 3rd down and 5. You know, when you look at the offensive stats, according to this, Maloney was 17 of 17 coming in, so that would be his first incompletion of the year.
In game 4, nonetheless. Maloney going to hand it off on the draw, and Chama stop in the backfield. The big man himself, Cooper Felger, with the stop.
Cooper Felger makes a great play, and you know, we've really seen a lot of that this year. Just love Felger, Michael Washington, so great at that line of scrimmage from those defensive line positions. Another big stop.
Now this game has turned into a defensive struggle here as we hit the 9:30 mark of the second quarter. Both offenses, frankly, very limited early.
And when you looked at the stats, you look at the style these two teams play, I think you could have expected to come out with a defensive battle, and that's what you got.
Fetchit going to let that one bounce, and it will come to a roll near, or come to a stop near the 20.
One of the things that's a little bit reversed right now for the Hilltoppers is we talked about it's Riverside dominating time of possession right now. So Riverside defense is still mostly fresh. You want to put together a nice long drive here of your Chardon because, you know, last year's game, Riverside hung around the first half. You were able to wear them down in the second half. Put together a nice long drive and start to wear out that defense a little bit here.
Caden Dawson split on near side. Pettyjohn, Carr. No, it's going to be Henry taking it around the right side, picking up a couple yards.
He's able to pick up a couple, but the Riverside defense has been well disciplined tonight. They've kept their eye on the football. They're anticipating the misdirection from the Hilltopper offense. They're doing a good job of staying with the play. And the Hilltoppers, outside of that one run by Pettyjohn, have not been able to get off very many big plays today.
Ethan Gaspar will bring the play in, and he will line up left side. Again, Peterson, Pettyjohn, and the big man Sean Carr. It's Pettyjohn who gets the carry, and Pettyjohn lost some yards there, was stopped in the backfield. Boy, he didn't have a chance. A.J. Adams got there first and made the initial hit.
A.J. Adams was in there. Drew Fisher, a linebacker, was in there. And you could tell that the Beavers are well prepared for this Hilltopper offense today, as once again the Hilltoppers cannot find that corner to turn on the outside. The linebackers are really kind of extending that line to the sideline, not giving any gaps for the Hilltoppers to turn through and get the big run.
3rd and 9 from their own 22. Two receivers out left side, Pettyjohn and Salka. Carr in the backfield, Peterson lined up on the wing. Henry flushing out near side, going to throw it. Has a man, it is caught. And that should be a first down. That was Salka.
Nice route there by Salka. He was the wide out here on the near side of the formation. Knew where the chains were, got himself the first down, turned a little post to the sideline, made the catch. Well executed play for the Hilltoppers, and on 3rd and 9, Salka is a pretty good option to go to.
Toppers, that's I believe the first down they've picked up in this game.
If it's not the first, it's the second. There have not been many yet so far.
Fake to Pettyjohn, over the middle, looking for McDonald, no. Threw it just ahead of him, but pressure coming in from up front as A.J. Moore, the linebacker, got up there and was in Henry's face.
Yeah, he was hit as he was thrown down there. Good work getting in the backfield by A.J. Moore, the big senior linebacker, able to make a stop.
Hey, want to take some time real quick and say hello out to Dennis and Lillian Graw tuning in. Henry options it off Carr, and Carr spins around, makes his way up near the 35. Not much more than that. You can just kind of feel the momentum right now favoring Riverside in this one. Just a little bit more emotion on their sideline, on their guys on the field.
Yeah, Riverside is in control of this game right now. They haven't really gotten off any of those big plays that could really push momentum on, but they are in control. This game has, if they had a script, they didn't want to give off the kickoff return. But since that time, this is to script. They've dominated time of possession. They have the Chardon offense on their heels. They can't get anything going. Things couldn't be going better for the Beavers right now.
Henry sends a man in motion, wave it off. Flags a flying.
And I was to say that's an illegal procedure against the Hilltoppers, and that is the call. I think the receiver on the sweep may have left a little early. Timing was just off, and you lose 5 yards.
It's now 3rd and 14.
But, again, an illegal procedure there, Matt, is a sign of how this Beaver defense really has the Hilltopper offense right now sort of back on their heels here.
Trey Liebhart checks into the game. Henry looking to throw, but underthrown, up in the air, and Salka can't come down with it. Aaron Conwell, the junior. Good coverage.
I would say Salka turned into a defender there, and he was able to get his hands up over Conwell and knock that one away using his height advantage, because if Salka doesn't make that play, that very easily could have been a pick for Conwell. So Salka able to save that takeaway, but still, I mean, the Beaver defense has been impressive in this first half.
Hey, speaking of Aaron Conwell, was handed a note from his mom, Rita, wanting us to wish him a very happy birthday. Today is his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Good coverage.
Nathan, another booming punt. Fair catch call for at the 30, and that's where Riverside will take over. Boy, we've had now, the Bookville game was Rocco Perico's birthday. Aaron Conwell's birthday today, so not often we have 2 actual birthdays on the day we're doing games.
Well, that'll happen. We'll watch.
Statistics say.
Yes, statistically speaking, that'll happen. So we'll have to see how it goes. I know Perico had a really good game on his birthday.
Are you the last guy in line of scrimmage?
No, right now, Beavers want to get something going here, and they're keeping the gunslinger out there on the field, Mikey Maloney, and he does go by Mikey.
Well, in dominating time of possession, the Beavers are putting themselves in a position to wear down the Hilltopper defense as we head into the second half.
They're going to hand it off right side, picking through a couple holes across the 40, and getting the first down was Jason Mackey, the running back.
Maybe a sign of a little bit of that there, Matt, as Mackey was able to run through a couple tackles and drag the pile to pick up the first down. Nice run, goes to the A-gap on the left side as he goes between the center and the guard, and a lot of room there for him to run.
Was Mackey's 10th carry of the year, and he averages about 10 yards a carry. The sophomore from the gun. Dropping back to pass. No, he's going to run it right side. Makes a cut at midfield, and he is close to the first down.
Great run. He found the hole. The receivers on the outside did their job. Jason Mackey, Jake, Eli throwing blocks to open that up, and Maloney able to find the opening and run for the first down. So a couple of big run plays now on this drive for the Beavers to pick up first downs.
In front of a packed crowd tonight, I'm guessing, I don't know, maybe 5,000 here at Chardon Memorial. The fans clanging the cowbells, trying to get the defense pumped up here. Nathaniel Salka helps make that stop along with Felger after a gain of a few yards there on that run. But Riverside again chewing up some time of possession.
Yeah, Salka proved to be a big wall there, Matt, as Mackey broke a couple tackles, jumped over a guy, and just ran into the arms of Salka. But yeah, the Beavers for sure, and they're using 25, 30 seconds before they even line up. This is their game plan, and they're executing right now. You could tell exactly what they wanted to in this first half.
Mackey sends a man in motion, going to hand it off to Brady McKnight. McKnight picks up maybe a yard, maybe 2.
Good work by the Hilltoppers linebackers that time, right? We talked about the Riverside linebackers. Chardon does the same thing here. They spread that field. They don't give Mackey anywhere to go. He left his blocker, McKnight, tried to make a cut up field, and there was just nothing there for him.
3rd and 5 from the Topper 43. 2 receivers left, 2 right, 1 back in the backfield for Mackey. Mackey gonna hand the ball off. Maloney gonna hand the ball off to Mackey. Too many M's.
They got a lot of M's down there. But that's a big play by the Chardon defense, Matt, because we've already seen Coach Boers be aggressive. You feel like it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2 around the 40. He might have gone for it. Big play there by the Hilltoppers. They actually forced the loss in yardage and forced Coach Boers to know he just has to send the punt unit out there.
Kerwood coming back out to punt the football. He's had a good night punting. Fetchick standing at his own 10. Solid kick headed toward the corner, and it goes out of bounds inside the 5. My goodness, what a great kick.
I mean, it's being spotted at the 1. You couldn't ask for anything better if you're the Beavers. So, 3:15 left in the game here. If you're the Hilltoppers, your offense has struggled, and now you got to start inside your own end zone on this drive.
Well, it is gut check time right now for the Hilltoppers offense. They left a ton of points on the scoreboard last week against Ursuline.
Well, and the other thing is the Beavers will have the ball to start the second half. So in an ideal world, unless you get a big opening and you score quick, you would like to really use the rest of the clock on this first half.
3 timeouts for both teams. Toppers will keep it on the ground, no surprise there. Carr on the carry, picked up a couple, at least gets him up to the 4.
Yeah, put the ball in the hands of your big, strong running back there to just give you a little bit of breathing room.
Let's go! Hey, sideline, go!
2nd and 9 from the 4. They will hand it off. Pettyjohn, some running room, and Pettyjohn up near the 10-yard line.
It's a good run there. You didn't need to get it all. You do set up a 3rd down and 3 or 4. Well, it looks like I'll call it a 3rd and 3. You set yourself up for a 3rd and 3 here, Matt. You got some breathing room now to do some things offensively with this play. So that's a good run by Pettyjohn.
Toppers with the 3rd and 3. Henry going to go under center. Pettyjohn and Carr in the backfield. Peterson the other back. And they will hand it off. Straight ahead was Peterson. And I don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe the line of scrimmage. Dave Boers going to call a timeout here. Stop the clock. 1:43 to go. I'm actually surprised he didn't do that on the last play.
No, he's thinking, Matt, he's going to get the ball around midfield. He'd like to save those 2 timeouts for the drive. Where you're going to be punted from your own end zone, you're going to get the ball around the 40 or 45 on their side of the field. Save those 2 timeouts. You have 1:43 to score. I don't think there's any way around it, Matt. It has been played. This game has been played exactly the way the Beavers would want it to be played to this point in time, and they're in a great position now to get a 2-for-1. They're going to really try to take advantage of it.
Read that one.
So,
Thank you.
Riverside out of the, or I should say both teams coming out of the timeout here. There's 4th and 3. And now Alex McDonald will be the man doing the punting here. Low snap, McDonald gets off, bit of a line drive punt that will be fielded by Ely near the 47, makes a return across the 40 out near the 37 where he is brought down.
Oh, we now have a new streaming service. You can see GTV through Roku and Apple TV with the Cablecast ScreenWeave app. Once the user has added the app to their Roku or Apple TV, they can watch both GTV channels, 1020 community government programming, 1020 educational programming. Again, it's the Cablecast ScreenWeave app. More info at geaugatv.org. You could email us, geaugatv@windstream.net.
So here's the situation, folks. 1:35 to go before halftime, and the Beavers have 2 timeouts. They will be getting the ball from the Chardon 36-yard line.
And the 2 timeouts are key, Matt, because you're not limited to the sidelines now. You can go to the middle of the field to make a couple of plays and pick up some first downs.
Maloney going to hand it off. End around coming left side, Aaron Conwell, and Conwell stopped after a pickup of, well, he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage based on that spot. I thought they were going to give him the 35, but no, he's marked back at the 36.
Yeah, so he gets back to where they started. Tried to run that end around, but again, the discipline of the Hilltopper linebackers was too good. They were there, they had that closed off, nowhere to run around the corner.
Conwell and McKnight on the left side of the field. Maloney clapping his hands, flushing out left side, throws the ball incomplete. Was looking for Dominic Tromba, but was well out in front of him. Stops the clock with 55 ticks left to go.
Went to Tromba, who was well covered. Brady McKnight might have been opened about 5 yards deeper there, but Tromba was well covered, and pass ball's incomplete. And remember, Maloney came in 17 for 17 on the year, so his first couple of missed passes have come against this Hilltopper defense. I think that happens to a lot of people.
Well, Riverside enters this game with a 3rd down conversion rate of 40%. And they've got a big 3rd down here. 3rd and 10 from the Topper 36. I'm going to send 3 receivers out to the left, 1 near side to the right. A back in the backfield for Mikey Maloney. Maloney looking to throw left side, ball up in the air and overthrows his intended target. Was looking for Ethan Ross, incomplete.
Yeah, good coverage down there by the Hilltoppers as you had the corner down there, Mario Tolo chasing him down. You also had Trey Liebhart coming in from the safety position on that play.
With 49 seconds left to go, you got to think the Beavers would be going for it here. They're going to take a timeout and talk this one over. So we'll take a timeout here as well on GTV. Welcome back, everyone. Chardon Memorial, Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you. We've got a good one here. 49 seconds left to go before halftime. Riverside facing a 4th down and 10 from the Chardon 36-yard line. The difference in this game is the very first play of the game. A Trey Liebhart 90-yard touchdown return on the opening kickoff. And since then, it's been a knock him out, drag him down defensive slugfest. Maloney sending Ely in motion. Maloney stepping up in the pocket, has some running room. Maloney, 35-30, and he's brought down at the 30. He will not get the first down. Toppers make the stop. Fetchick, one of the guys in there, to bring him down. And out comes Chardon with 42 seconds left to go.
That is a nice, safe call on 4th down. The way that play developed, it does look like it was designed as a draw run. he had 5 yards of space. Good work by the Hilltoppers defense to get the stop. Obviously, Coach Bohr is hoping we get everyone thinking we're going to take a shot. We spread that defense back. We'll have the 10 yards to pick up the down, but good work by the Hilltoppers to stop it.
Toppers, that tight wing T formation. Henry from the shotgun. He's looking to throw the football, dropping back to pass. Left side over the middle, and it's incomplete. Tremendous coverage by Jake Ely. They were looking for Ryan Peterson.
Yeah, Ely made a great play there to cut Peterson off. Hilltoppers take a shot to try to get into the end zone here. Again, the Beavers are going to get the ball to start the second half, but a nice play by Ely to swat it away. We've seen both secondaries with some great pass coverage, some really good pass breakups so far tonight on both sides of the ball.
Gutsy call. You don't want that to be picked off here just before halftime. Henry sends a man in motion, will fake the handoff, keep it himself. Henry up the middle near the 39-yard line. Might have fallen forward for the first down. He will be given the first down, and the Toppers will call a timeout here with 26 seconds left to go. And Ryan, you got to think at this point in time that Mitch Hewitt may be thinking getting field goal range.
Yeah, you have Tagger, he's good from about 39, 40 yards out, and, Coach Hewitt trusts him, gave him the opportunity late in the game to make the big field goal, and he did. So if you get into field goal range, you could. One important thing, Matt, they actually did mark him up just short, so the Hilltoppers are facing 3rd and inches here. I don't think it necessarily matters, though, to their play call. Now, this is the new field turf, week 2 of it. Right down there, you can see all the new lines for football, soccer, girls lacrosse, boys lacrosse. You got the sharp black end zones and then the beautiful LED scoreboard that consumes 20% of the energy that the old Topper scoreboard did.
Such a great facility here in Chardon. Without the track, fans much closer than a lot of other stadiums, too.
So our announcers trying to see numbers.
Yeah. 3rd and 1. They're going to hand it off around the left side. Peterson picks up the first down. Peterson going down the left side. Peterson going to step out of bounds around the 40-yard line. That was a huge play.
Huge play, and it came to the outside. What have we been saying this whole first half? Good discipline by those Riverside linebackers. On 3rd and inches, they were sold out on stopping the run up the middle. Open things up on the outside to Peterson. Great play call by the Hilltoppers, and maybe their biggest play of the game so far. Couldn't come at a better time. If you pick up the first down quick, you are in Nathan Tagger's field goal range.
2 receivers out to the right. Carr and Peterson, your running backs in this formation. Now Carr going to go out. Looks like they're going to try to get him a swing pass. No, he's going to chuck it. Henry just throws it incomplete at the feet of Sean Carr. Good call.
Yeah, good decision there by Alex Henry. I don't think that they were actually going for the swing pass there. I think that they were trying that as a decoy, but nothing really opened up field, and too much pressure coming from the linebackers in the backfield for Henry to really kind of turn a corner and hook out. So instead, he does the very smart thing, throws that into the turf at the feet of Sean Carr. Live for another day.
So here's the situation. Toppers, 12 seconds left to go. They have a timeout. You got to think if they can get the ball near the 30, it might be in Nathan Tagger's field goal range. Henry going to keep it himself running left side and goes out of bounds. We'll stop the clock now with 6 seconds left to go, and it's decision time for the Hilltoppers. What are they going to do here on 2nd down?
Now, we know that Tagger does have good range. This would still line up to be over a 50-yarder, so you're gonna go. You're not gonna have a whole lot of time to make a play and call a timeout. I think you're gonna have to do something near a sideline and try to step out with only 6 seconds left.
Salka brought the play in. He's going to line up near side. Salka and Trey Liebhardt are on the left. Sean Carr back as a blocking back along with Ryan Peterson from the wing spot. Henry looking to throw. Quick throw sideline is caught and out of bounds. 2 seconds left to go.
Exactly the play you needed. That's what we said. You need something quick, out of bounds. Give yourself the opportunity. And they're going to send Tagger out there. Ball is spotted at the 30-yard line, so that would make this a about a 47-yarder for Taggart here.
Yeah, they're placing the tee on the 37, so yep. Good snap, good hold. The kick is underway. It's toward the uprights. Does it have the distance? No, falls just a bit short as time expires. Well, the Hilltoppers, they struggled offensively, but at least they moved the ball toward the end of this quarter. Maybe a little bit of confidence being built here as we finish the first half.
They did what they needed to do on that drive, Matt. They got the ball with 3:15 left. They didn't let Riverside get another shot. That's what you needed to do. You took care of it.
Folks, with that, we're going to step aside, and we hope you enjoy the fine halftime performance that awaits you after this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the 2021 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. The band is being led onto the field by our senior drum major, Michael Molesky. The band staff is very proud of this group of students in front of you. They have worked very hard the last few weeks and are excited to perform for you tonight. Our show this evening is all about believing. We open with Do You Believe in Love by Huey Lewis and the News. Our next selection features our Topperette dance teen in a tune from the 1960s by a pop rock group called the Monkees. It was also covered by Smash Mouth and was part of the Shrek soundtrack. With captains Lindsey Craig and Alana Kolick, here is I'm a Believer. Small town girls and city boys taking the midnight train going anywhere. Featuring our majorettes, here is Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Chardon High School Fight Song.
Welcome back, everyone. Great halftime performance by the band. And you see right there the Chardon Crazies. Boy, red, white, and blue today. And, of course, they are showing their patriotism, trying to get the Toppers pumped up because they've got a tough second half ahead of them.
You know, they really do. So, you know, we talked a lot about how the game was going the way Riverside wanted to go. But we don't want to get, what a great job by Chardon. The defense was up to the task, right? Riverside really dominated time of possession, but outside of on the fumble on the punt return, Riverside never really got inside the 40. The Chardon defense has kept them in check the whole time. So while the Beavers are dominating time of possession, they've had basically no big plays, nothing to get them going. So honestly, outside of that opening kickoff, it's been a game where I'm not sure you could say either team has had momentum in the first half. They're both just kind of duking it out at midfield, waiting to see who's going to be the one to make the next blow.
Well, the Crazies there, they want them. They want that big play to be Chardon. They're ready to erupt. They had that opening kickoff where they got nice and loud, but as you've alluded to, Ryan, it's been a rather quiet game from that point in time.
Yeah, the touchdown was on special teams. The defense certainly has made some great plays. I mean, a number of great pass breakups from the secondary. Salka's comes to the top of my mind right away. But yeah, otherwise, offensively, just not able to get anything going. The Beavers will be getting the football to begin the second half here. Well, if you'd like to advertise on the new scoreboard, call the CHS Athletic Office, 286-0414, and they'll put you in touch with representatives of the Gridiron Club for details.
Riverside, of course, coming into this one, a 2-1 record. Hilltoppers 3-0. And granted, it's only 3 games into the season. I'm going to bring it up, though. They're both sitting in their respective regions, 7th in the computer point standings.
Yeah, and
not that it matters much anymore because of what the Ohio High School Athletic Association did to water it down, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, with 16 teams getting in, if you're sitting 7 at the top of your conference schedule, you're going to be feeling pretty good about your playoffs chances here. Just take care of business in conference, get your wins. But, I mean, the way it's set up now, with as good as the WRC is, I mean, these teams could go 6-4 and 5-5 in the conference and get a playoff spot.
Well, you look at Chardon's road to getting here. A tough Glenville game. A kind of pushover in Akron-Buchtel. They just really wore Buchtel down there in the first half, and it was a gutsy performance last week. And I'm almost wondering, and I was thinking about this at halftime, Ryan, did they just expend so much energy and focus on Ursuline because Ursuline is the proverbial favorite to win the Division IV championship, that that kickoff and be fielded at the 10, making a cut and being stopped near the 25-yard line. That's where the Beavers will take over. But is this almost just an emotional letdown after what they went through this week?
It's really interesting that you asked that question, because you would think with the history and the rivalry with Riverside, you'd kind of be, protected from that, but been a little flat, particularly offensively in the first half. Of course, the defense has been dynamic. A lot of those guys play both ways, but you do have to wonder here, and we'll see what the Hilltoppers come out with in the second half. Remember, the offense was really flat in the first half against Glenville, and then a different offense came out for the second half of that game.
So who's Dave Boris sitting at? It's old number 6 himself, and Cameron Simpson. And I kind of say that jokingly because he's just a junior. The handoff is to Tromba, straight up the middle. And Tromba, some hard-fought yards right there. Getting up near the 26-yard line.
There's a big drive for Riverside because, although they've controlled the ball, they haven't swung momentum. If they could open up the second half here on the road and get a score, they could start to move momentum to their side and fuse a lot of energy into their sideline. That's a very important drive to get things started strong here in the second half for the Beavers.
2nd and 5 now from the 26. Simpson going to fake the handoff, going up the gut, and Simpson fighting for some yardage out near the 30-yard line, and he's close to the first down. As a matter of fact, he has it.
Good run there by Simpson, stayed behind Tromba. Tromba cleared the way for him to get to the chains and able to move him after that. So good fundamental play there. Get behind your blockers, stay behind them, pick up the first down.
from the gun, Simpson clapping his hands, hands it off. Around, well, no, he did not get around the end. That was Brady McKnight, who's had a number of runs tonight, and McKnight strung out that time.
Yeah, good work there by the linebacking core for the Hilltoppers. You know, in the first half we said, in a way, for these two teams, it's going to be like looking in a mirror, and defensively it has been. Both linebacking cores great on the edges. Nothing really coming to the outside for either team. Can't turn a corner. There's always linebackers there. That was another good play by the Hilltoppers, forcing the Beavers into a second down and long situation.
Second and 13, Riverside.
Two receivers right, one to the left for the Beavers. They'll send McKnight in motion. They'll fake the handoff. They'll fake the handoff to McKnight. They'll give it to Tromba up the middle, and he is stuffed. Fegler again, one of the guys in there. Boy, we continue each and every week. We hear the name Michael Washington, Cooper Felger. These guys have done such an outstanding job up on that defensive line.
Oh, they're doing great work up front for the Hilltoppers. You know, they really kind of carry the load there in the middle of that defensive line, and they do a great job of getting penetration, getting into the backfield, breaking up the plays what the quarterback wants to do.
Third and 11. Simpson looking to throw. Now he's going to tuck it. Breaks one tackle. He's dropped in the backfield. A big hit.
Guess who got him?
Going to go with Washington.
Washington was in there, just almost on cue. So Felger made the last big play, and so Washington says, wait a second. He gets in the backfield and makes a big play. That's a huge stop by the Hilltopper defense. And they're going to get the ball here around midfield so they can flip field position a little bit, especially in that second quarter. The Hilltoppers had a drive where they started basically in their end zone, so they're going to get an opportunity here to start around midfield.
Sky-high kick. Fetchick running in, fair catch called for it, fair catch made at the 44-yard line. Hilltoppers pretty good field position to begin the second half.
Yeah, that's what you want to see, and we'll see what kind of adjustments they made in the locker room here to see what they could do to get their offense really going, because it's been an uphill battle through the first half to get anything moving offensively.
We saw them at the end of that first half get a little bit of success running to the left side and getting around that end. Maybe they found something. Time will tell. Here we go. Henry from the gun. Alex Henry going to hand it off. Sean Carr fighting through a couple of Beavers up near the 47-yard line.
That's where they end them with forward progress. Good, strong run there by Sean Carr. I don't know, that's the way I'd want to start the second half too, is give the ball to my bruising senior running back and let him pick up 3 or 4 yards to get us going in the positive direction, get us near midfield, get things started here.
Tight formation for the Toppers. Peterson, Carr, and Pettyjohn. Henry barking out the call. Will hand it off to Pettyjohn. Going right side. Pettyjohn has a little opening. Pettyjohn springs away. Pettyjohn across the 40, down near the 35. First down, Toppers.
Said it during the first half, Matt. Every week you see a couple more of those big runs. The runs get a little bit longer. Looks like Daniel Pettyjohn is starting to get comfortable here with his role in this offense. That is a huge run. The Hilltoppers needed that to get them into good position here.
Dawson brings in the play, and the Hilltoppers, now 2 consecutive drives, have had some nice plays. And spin to the outside both times. Clock running, 7:50 and counting here in the third quarter. Henry will give it, and they'll go left side. That was Sean Carr on the carry.
A little bit of misdirection there. Sean Carr takes it. Once again, picks up 5 yards on first down. And, you know, this is kind of key to opening up that outside, is that outside is getting more open. You know, Sean Carr up the middle, kind of helping to open things up as you get outside.
Henry now under center. We'll hand it off coming left side. Daniel Pettyjohn stopped in the backfield, wrapped up and brought down by Jason Ryan, who has made big play after big play tonight.
Yeah, Jason Ryan chased them down from behind, and this is the only week we're going to see the Beavers this year, but just seeing them here, you look at Jason Ryan and say, man, he's a key for them up front. He's obviously one of their biggest defensive threats, and you're right, he just makes play out after play. He was in the backfield and was able to chase Pettyjohn down for a loss, and we've seen that burst of speed Pettyjohn has. Ryan's still able to catch up with him.
Salkett and Pettyjohn now lined up as receivers left side. Carr in the backfield. Peterson, your wing back. Now Carr, they'll fake it to Carr. Henry taking off, makes a few cuts, and Henry gets the first down out near the 26-yard line.
You draw the defense over to the near side. You make them think the play is going that way, and so things are thin on the other side. Good work there. Ran between the right tackle and the right guard. They opened up that hole. First down run for Henry.
Situation where on tape, that swing play entering tonight's game had been throughout the entire first 3 games of the season a pass to Sean Carr. That time, it wasn't.
That's the second time tonight we've seen them run that as not a pass to Sean Carr. So when you got a team like Riverside that's familiar with you got to do something they haven't seen on the tape.
1st and 10 from the 26. Henry fakes the handoff. Henry keeps it going right side, picks up maybe a yard or two as he's near the out of bounds, and he did get out of bounds.
Yeah, that was just good work down there coming in to get the stop for the Beavers and able to chase him down, prevent anything further.
Now Chardon doing what they could not do in the first half, and that is move the ball offensively. Down now to the 25-yard line of Riverside. Henry will hand it off. Peterson, and Peterson wrapped up and dropped in the backfield. Do I need to say who? Jason Ryan again.
Yeah, Jason Ryan again with a big play, blowing that one up in the backfield. He does such a good job on those. He really is a spy, and he's a ball hawk, and his job is to stop those sweep runs, and he gets back there and he does it. Hard to argue with the results.
3rd and 14 now for the Toppers from the 30. Need some positive yards right here. Henry flushing out right side, has Carr in front of him as a blocker. Flags coming out, and I think this one's coming back.
Yeah, there's holding over here on the outside. As I look down there, it looks like it was Adam Jackson who got himself tangled up down there with, I believe, Jacob Scholes, and both players were down on the ground, so the holding obviously going to be waved off after the big play.
So the turnover right there. Excuse me, check that. I think that was
the ball must have been fumbled on that sideline.
Out of bounds. Indeed it is, and it is Riverside ball. Chardon with 2 turnovers in this game.
Riverside has kept it clean so far in that department.
Simpson going to run it up the gut, nothing going there. Too many red jerseys right there, stopping and clogging up the lanes.
Good work there by the Hilltopper D. Hilltopper D definitely has been up to the task today, and they just continue to make the big plays. And as frustrating as a game offensively it has been for the Hilltoppers, it's been equally as frustrating for the Beavers tonight.
Second down and 9 from the 26-yard line. Simpson looking in for the call, finally gets it. He has Dominic Tromba with him in the backfield. From the gun, will fake the handoff to Tromba, going to throw it left side, incomplete, nearly intercepted. Oh, it is intercepted into the end zone, touchdown. That's Bruce.
Matt, I think that the indication is it was a fumble.
Regardless,
It's a Hilltopper touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
They're calling it a fumble, so they're saying that was a lateral. It was not a pass.
Bruce did the smart thing, scooped it up and just kept it running.
Don't quit on the play ever. Great play by Bruce, and he gets a defensive touchdown to it. So the special teams and the defense have picked up the offense tonight for the Hilltoppers. They've got 2 scores on the board.
Boy, so that's a huge score for the Hilltoppers.
That is a huge score, and it really puts the pressure on Riverside. In so many ways, they controlled the first half of the game, time of possession and everything. They never made the big play. And if you can't make the big play, you can control the game all you want. If you don't score, it's going to be a tough night. And they have not been able to score in the Hilltoppers. Big defensive touchdown there.
Tagger out to attempt the PAT. A little bit of an issue with the snap, but no doubt about it. Nathan just kicked that one out of the stadium.
So right now,
So with 4:32 left to go here in the third, we're going to take a timeout here from Chardon Memorial. It's the Hilltoppers 14 and the Beavers nothing. Welcome back, Chardon Memorial. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you, and boy, the Hilltoppers get a little bit of breathing room thanks to the effort of the defense.
tonight's special cablecast is funded by your cable subscriber franchise fees, and we'd like to again extend thanks to all the GTV funding communities, including those not funding tonight's contest, for their year-round support. They are Burton Village, Chardon Township, the City of Chardon, Middlefield Village, and Munson Township. Thanks again for supporting GTV, and thanks to all our viewers for their support.
Bit of a short kick and be fielded, but coming around the left side, 25, 30, 35, and knocked out of bounds near the 40-yard line. That was Aaron Conwell, the birthday boy. I thought he might let that go out of bounds, but instead he took it and able to get on the other side of the field. There is a Beaver down, though, around the 30-yard line.
Hopefully the Beaver will be all right.
We're going to take a injury timeout here on GTV. Well, Colin Fairbanks needs a little bit of assistance making his way off the field. And that could play into things here because Fairbanks, by the way, is one of their key defensive linemen in this game. Was able to walk off, but again, just needed a little bit of help. So hopefully he's going to be okay. Maybe just got the wind knocked out of him.
He's made a couple of big plays for them tonight on the defensive side of the ball.
Returning to the game, though, Cameron Simpson still in at QB. 4:22 to go here in the third. They will hand it off Tromba. Tromba made a nice little cut, but couldn't get away from Heath Fetchick, who wrapped him up near the line of scrimmage and brought him down.
Yeah, good open field work there by Fetchick as he was able to just get down and wrap up an ankle and bring down Tromba. Nice play. We talked about those linemen, but when you talk about the linebacking core, Fetchick's name comes up a lot down there.
And if you're just joining us, Dodson not in the game tonight. Bit of a blow for the Hilltopper defense not to have Brody in there, but Zorn Vuyaklia starting this place, doing a nice job. And again, the Hilltoppers D at this point in time pitching a shutout, so you can't complain.
No, Vuyaklia has done a nice job there in the middle of that linebacking core tonight.
Bit of a high snap. Simpson feeling some pressure, being flushed out left side, going to throw the ball down the field. It's up in the air, up ball, it's intercepted! A.J. Bruce with the pick! Why not? He had the fumble recovery, now get the interception, young man!
There's a flag down at the 40-yard line. What is it going to be?
That came out early.
It came out early.
And the QB, by the way,
and it was a hold against Riverside, so the Hilltoppers will take that interception.
Cameron Simpson being stretched. He has some cramping issues right now.
Simpson.
Interesting because he only really plays 2 halves.
Yeah, so they're working on him. Hopefully he's going to be all right. He's being helped up right now. Coming off the field.
So the Hilltoppers now, Ryan.
That actually looks like it's number 8, which would be Jason Ryan, man.
You're right. Well, that explains because that young man's been going all out on defense.
And you could tell what the Beavers do. They need him defensively.
So right now, Hilltoppers come out on the field with the offensive unit. They need to get something going here and chew up some clock.
Special teams has a score. The defense has a score. Now it's time for the offense to find the end zone.
Carr going to cut back to his right and pick up a few yards out near the 23-yard line.
He just got wrapped up and didn't get let go. That's a good defensive play in order to be able to come in there and make that stop. That was A.J. Moore, the linebacker.
Been a quiet night for most of the Chardon running backs. We've seen a couple nice runs from Daniel Pettyjohn, but Alex Henry, they've keyed on him all night long, no doubt about that. Henry going straight ahead, and Henry, forward progress will take him to about the 26.
Yeah, they keyed on him there again. You know, Henry, probably the most explosive player on the offensive side of the ball for the Hilltoppers, and the Beavers definitely look like they've decided they are going to key on it. You know, Sean Carr's done what Sean Carr does, those 4 or 5 yard runs. You mentioned Pettyjohn, but what's been missing is those runs from Henry, and those runs from Henry really are what drive this offense.
Well, the Beavers, you got to give Dave Borst credit again. He knows this team as well as anybody, just based on his years here in Chardon as the defensive coordinator. Henry going to keep the ball and be wrapped up and dropped in the backfield. He had no chance on that one. A.J. Adams in there for the sack.
Henry wanted to initially hand it off, but I mean, A.J. Moore was in the backfield all over Sean Carr, so Henry wisely pulled it back, but then, as you mentioned, you know, it was A.J. Moore on one side, then here came A.J. Adams on the other for the sack.
Attack of the A.J.s.
Yeah, too many A.J.s down there.
4th and 10, and the Hilltoppers going to be forced to punt the football.
You know, this is kind of an example of what we were talking about, where a lot of the game, it feels like, even though they're down, Riverside's been in control, they just forced this Hilltoppers offense into a 3 and out, and the Beavers are getting the ball back.
Tagger, end-over-end kick. Will bounce on the 45, cross midfield, and the Hilltoppers will watch it roll down near the 47. So the defense coming back out on the field, and they have really taken over this game in the second half. They've put up 6 points. They've got 2 turnovers on 2 consecutive drives. Yeah. How much more can they do?
The Hilltoppers defense has definitely been up to the task today, and that has to be a frustrated Beavers team because they've been able to run clock, pick up some first downs, but anytime they start to threaten, that defense clamps down on them and they just can't get over the hump. So that has to be a frustrated Beaver offense right now that just doesn't have answers. The Hilltopper defense has got more talent on that side of the ball, and it shows.
Keep this in mind through the first 3 games of the season. Riverside, 2 total turnovers. Tonight in the third quarter, 2. Simpson will hand it off. Trauma trying to get around the left end. No, so many red jerseys there to stop him.
And this is kind of the hallmark of this year's version of the Hilltoppers. When you need the defense to step up, the defense is going to be there. We saw it last week when the defense clamped down in that 4th quarter, and here again, the offense just isn't there tonight. But big play after big play, plays for losses, big pass breakups. Defense is stepping up to the challenge once again for these Hilltoppers and making every play when you need them to.
2nd and 12. Simpson will fake the handoff, stepping up in the pocket. Simpson going ahead, and Simpson getting to midfield, brought down from behind. I think that was Mario Tolo who got him.
Tracked down by Michael Washington.
Nice play down there around midfield. So that's going to set up a 3rd down and 7. And this has been the problem for Riverside tonight. They get to 3rd down, they're always 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
We've played 3 quarters. Chardon up 14-0. We'll take a timeout here on GTV. We begin the 4th quarter here at Chardon Memorial. It's Chardon 14 and Riverside nothing. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you. The Beavers with a 3rd down and 8. Cameron Simpson flushing out right side, nowhere to go. He is dropped for a huge loss. The Hilltoppers, that was Rocco Perico got in there and said, I don't think so.
Yeah, Rocco Perico comes blitzing in from the linebacker position. Untouched, Matt. No one picked him up. And Simpson was going through the play. He was rolling out. He looked up to see his receivers, and all he saw was Rocco Perico right there. Huge play by Rocco.
Port Kid had no chance.
No.
On 4th and 15, Sean Kerwood out to punt, and he's had some fabulous punts today. Gets this one off. It's another good punt. Boy, he is a weapon for Dave Boers' squad. That punt will roll down to about the 25-yard line where it comes to a stop.
Well, GTV will be in Middlefield Saturday to record the 9/11 ceremony commemorating the 20th anniversary of that tragic day. We'll have replays of those activities on Monday and Tuesday on Channel 1020, so you could tune in to see those. Exact times will be posted on the channel.
Earlier tonight before kickoff, they did have a moment of silence for the victims of the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks. Affected the lives of so many in Shanksville and New York City and Washington, D.C. Henry dropping back the pass, looking to throw over the middle. The ball is caught out near midfield. Caden Dawson, his first catch of the season.
And that was the play you were waiting for. You're waiting for one of these offenses to make a play like that. You run her out over the middle of the field, you hit your receiver, great play, diving in there by Caden Dawson, and you get the ball out at midfield. Something to really get this offense moving.
Toppers, 1st and 10 from midfield here as we begin the 4th quarter, up 2 scores, looking to get something going. Henry under center, sends a man in motion, flags come out. This may be against the Beavers. I think they got into the neutral zone, and that caused one of the offensive linemen to flinch.
I was going to say, someone was over the line. It was on the far side of the field from us, so I'm not 100% sure who it was, but you know, the thing you see from our angle is that defensive line doesn't look like they're lined up in a straight line. Someone's a little further ahead on that far end, and you're like, wait a minute, and yeah, the flag came out.
Toppers will take that break. It's now a 1st and 5 for Chardon. I believe that's actually the first assessed penalty of the night for Riverside. Henry going to try to get around the right side. No. He was met and brought down quickly by Drew Fisher.
They have keyed in on Alex Henry tonight, and you wonder if this is something that the Hilltoppers are going to see going forward here. It almost is like the Beavers are okay if someone else beats them. They're just not going to let it be Alex Henry. Every time Henry's running with the football, there's 2 guys coming at him. It really seems like their game plan has been no Alex Henry tonight. And the defense has stuck to that. They've done a good job of taking him out of this game.
Henry will hand the ball off Ryan Peterson left side. Peterson cuts up between the tackles and is stopped. Jason Ryan back in the contest in there to help make the tackle.
Good to see Ryan get back out there as he had to get stretched out by the trainer.
Well, for Riverside, you have to now start thinking about the clock in this contest based on what you're doing offensively. Getting a stop here on third down is imperative.
Absolutely correct.
3rd and 7 for Chardon. Henry keeps it himself. Henry first down and more. Henry, one man to beat in the end zone. Touchdown Toppers!
Just as we say, the Beavers have done a great job all night of keying in on him. Alex Henry finds a hole and bursts through it, and all that speed that we know Alex Henry has, he just takes off, runs past everybody in the secondary, and he is gone to the house. And that's how you know he's a junior, but he is something special because he still finds a way here late to break off that big run for his offense.
He broke a few tackles along the way. And finally, the Hilltoppers offense gets on the scoreboard. And now, the Beavers, you have to think desperation may be setting in when they come back out on the field down 3 scores. Tagger out to attempt another PAT. Bit of a high snap, no worries though. Did not hit the scoreboard, so his pay-to-play fee will remain the same this time.
Although it is a little higher after he hit the scoreboard last week.
Yeah, very true.
But they missed a 47-yard field. That's a long field goal. 3 for 3 from PATs tonight. It's been a good game for that unit down there kicking the football, and I really do think that big field goal at the end of the 3rd quarter gave that whole group something to lean on and build on here as they move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you go back to it. They had a number of changes within the kicking unit. Those now have been shored up. It's been the same unit now for the last 2 weeks, and we've seen some great things from the kicking team.
And it shows up here on the score where you look up there and you have 3 scores. You got 21 points on the board, and these are all good signs. And look, what the Hilltoppers have proven. Last week they've proven that they could survive a game like the one they went through a week ago. What the Hilltoppers have proven this week, Matt, is they can survive in a game like this where really Riverside punches them in the mouth. In a lot of ways, it feels like Riverside was in control, but then you look up and you're winning 21-0. Because in all 3 phases of the game, you can score and you can make things happen. And the Hilltoppers did that tonight.
That kick will be fielded at the 1 near side at 10, 15, 20. And Conwell, not much more after that. Well, if you're Riverside, the one thing that you've got going for you right now is Mikey Maloney is going to be coming out on the field to pilot this squad. And when you look at what that young man has done this year, he's been the guy to go to in the passing game. Entering tonight, 17 for 17, 166 yards through the air.
He missed some passes. He ran into a deep. We obviously didn't see their previous games, but he's run into a really good defense, and you wonder when he looks up the field and sees that secondary blanking the receivers, you wonder if the young man Maloney has seen a defense this good yet in his career. Now, our next football game versus Mayfield is an away game, 7 p.m. kickoff. It's the second WRC contest of the year. So audio only next week. Tune into channel 1025 to catch the scoreboard and hear the play-by-play.
Penalty will go against Riverside.
False start there.
We'll back them up 5 and make it 1st and 15. And boy, you start to get into that Western Reserve Conference schedule, Ryan. And you look what's coming up ahead for the Hilltoppers. Mayfield 0-3 entering tonight. Then they've got a home game against Kenston, who's undefeated. And then that big matchup down in New Philly. Maloney throws it, it's picked! It is intercepted, and the Hilltoppers get another turnover. This time it's Mario Tolo.
Big play by Mario Tolo. He just jumped the route. So, Maloney came into this week perfect in the air. Anything but perfect tonight. and he just screened that pass, Matt. Mario Tolo knew exactly where it was going to go. He was just able to jump the route and jump right in front of it. Great play by Tolo to read the quarterback's eyes and get into position to make the stop. And now the Hilltoppers have a chance, very similar to last year's game. Riverside played close for so long, and then as you got later, the Hilltoppers just pulled away, and that's happening again here in the fourth quarter tonight.
Well, all of a sudden, the turnovers mounting for Riverside. They were out. Now let me get this play in first. Henry going to keep it himself, and he is hit at the line of scrimmage. Did not get to go very far, but entering this second half, the Beavers were winning the turnover battle 2-0, and now all of a sudden it's been flipped. 3 turnovers by Riverside that have led to some points.
You have to wonder if frustration set in for them, Matt, after playing a clean first half, no turnovers, no penalties, controlling time of possession, and yet you couldn't move the football and you looked up, you were down. That's what good teams like Chardon can do to you.
On the right side, it's Daniel Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn tried to find somewhere to go, had to navigate through a few Beavers, and got himself out near the 12.
I like that change of direction there from Pettyjohn. He looked up the field. He was able to see what was going on in front of him. He saw the hole to his left, and he changed his route and was able to pick up about 5 yards. It's a good run by Daniel Pettyjohn down there.
Pettyjohn did a good job with all the black helmets around him of keeping that football in his possession. You see it sometimes in high school football where a young man may try to switch arms with the football, and that's when it gets popped out, gets hit by a helmet or punched out. Toppers with a 3rd and 6 from the 12. The give is to Carr, and Carr bulls ahead inside the 10, and that will bring it 4th down.
So it'll be decision time here, up already by 3 scores. You probably don't want to send the field goal unit out there. So you're going to keep the offense out there and see what they do. I think most people would agree that, kicking a field goal in this situation is a little bit more of a, rub in the opponent's face than if you happen to score a touchdown.
4th down and 3. Give this to Carr, and Carr straight ahead. Is he in?
I think he is, but they're calling him short at the 1.
Yeah, they are at the 1. The fans were getting ready to explode.
Sean Carr thought he was in.
And another Riverside Beaver down on the ground. Ball mark shy at the 1. We'll pause and take a timeout here on GTV. Red, white, and blue for the Chardon Crazies tonight, and they are getting pumped. They're seeing the boys, I don't know, what do you want to say, 6 inches from the goal line?
Yeah, they are right there.
A.J. Adams had to be helped off the field and into the end zone. Sean Carr, touchdown, Toppers.
Yep. Sean Carr got denied at the goal line on the last play, so they gave the ball back to him, let him finish it off. Touchdown for Sean Carr. And just like that, the Hilltoppers pull away. 7-0 at halftime. You get the defensive touchdown in the 3rd quarter. Here in the 4th quarter, you get the big pass play first, and then the big run from Alex Henry on that touchdown drive. And now you turn a turnover into points. And this is what good teams do to you. Riverside played so well, expended so much energy to stay in this game, and they're still looking up down 4 scores.
Well, for Riverside coming in tonight, we mentioned this early on, without 6 players toniut due to illness. That PAT, no doubt about that one. 28-0 now the score here from Chardon as the Hilltoppers completely in control now. This is, and I don't like harping back on last year per se because the team was so special, but you start to see some similarities, at least in 3 of the first 4 games that Chardon has played, where they are really beginning to wear their opponents down in the second half just because they play so physical.
They are, and that system football, that's one thing you look to. And the other thing you can look to for that too, Matt, is, these guys weren't playing last year, but they watched all those guys who graduated last year play. And they are very well aware of what Chardon football is, and they're able to come out here and know what their job is. Just because they were around those guys, it makes these guys better this year.
Not only that, but they were the ones playing against them in practice all the time, and in a lot of those blowouts, they were getting varsity time against varsity opponents.
And you know what? Honestly, that'll do it. You want to get good, practice against that team from last year, and that's what all these guys did, is practice against them a year ago.
Toppers up 28-0. A lot of breathing room, all courtesy of some big plays here in the second half. Tagger line drive, and no doubt about that one. That's a touchback.
Hey, GTV is looking for cameramen and production assistants to help on our sports coverage. Email us at geogatv@windstream.net if you're looking for some fun part-time work.
That's right, help wanted. Boy, who doesn't have that issue
I was
going
to say, that sign is everywhere around town.
It's fun to work with Ryan.
It's fun to work with Matt.
I don't know. My coworkers sometimes think otherwise.
I have to say one thing about this Chardon team is they have a confidence about them. That, whether it's Ursuline charging back or, kind of the tough sledding they had in the first half today, you don't get the feeling those guys ever think they're in the trouble. You get the feeling they always think they're going to win this game, and so far they're on their way to 4-0.
Toppers forced to call a timeout there. 12 men on the field. Hayden Semler, who brought the American flag out on the field, one of two guys, him and TJ Altman, was the 12th guy and just couldn't get off the field in time.
Hey, don't forget birthdays, anniversaries, and other special occasions can be made more special through GTV. Send that terrific picture or pictures to us, and we'll help highlight the event. Please enclose a self-addressed stamped envelope. Once again, our address, GTV, P.O. Box 336, Chardon, Ohio, 44024. You can email us that beautiful picture at geogatv@windstream.net.
Folks, do want to invite you to stick around, because following the completion of this one, we will be going down on the field and hearing from Coach Mitch Hewitt and his assistants as they talk with the Hilltoppers, who right now are up 28-0 in this one, 6:40 to go. It's been 21 unanswered second half points for Chardon that have blown this game open. Mikey Maloney looking to throw the football. Now he's going to tuck it and run. Will evade one tackler, avoids a few others, and then just gets crushed. Boy, young man, you need to go out of bounds there.
Yeah, and that's something that he will learn. I do have to give him credit, though. He made a good decision. I thought Brady McKnight was open on the sideline. I didn't know why he didn't pass it to him, but then he ran for 15 yards instead, and I'm like, okay, good decision there, but you're right. The right call is just step out of bounds.
Yeah, situation where you need to live to see another day. Maloney going to step up and run again between the tackles and brought down at the 40. That time it was Zach Fay. Of course, his brother Nick Fay, you remember him from last year. Mm-hmm. One of these standout offensive linemen, the state championship team.
You wonder as you watch Maloney, Matt, if he's rushing a little bit, if the game is starting to speed up on him against this. Both those plays, those were quick decisions to decide to tuck and run.
Looking to throw now over the middle, has a man open up, and there it is, caught a big first down for the Beavers. Hauling it in was Jake Ely. Great throw by Maloney.
Well, never mind, he's fine. He took his time, three-step drop, pump fake, got his receiver open, and threw a bullet down there. Simpson is the junior. He's a little bit older, but Maloney's got the real arm talent here, it looks like, Matt, for the Beavers.
And Dave Boris told us there's no auditions. This is just what they're doing the rest of the year. Maloney going to tuck it and run this time, and Maloney spun around and spun forward down near the 15-yard line. That should be good enough for a first down, and they do say move the chains.
And
check. I beg your pardon. He's going to be marked 2 yards shy.
I would say the two quarterback look is really going to help Riverside this year. Forces teams to really prepare for two completely different looks at that position. So it gives defenses a lot to work on in game week.
Maloney flushing out left side, feeling some pressure, stepping up, looking to throw over the middle. It is caught into the end zone, and
He's in.
touchdown Riverside.
Brady McKnight was cutting across the middle of the field. He ran a great route. He was wide open in the center of that defense there. Nice soft spot for him to land, to make a catch, and into the end zone with the touchdown. So the Beavers, after a night of frustration, finally get into the end zone here with 5 minutes left.
Now Maloney doing it with his arm on this drive. Had some help from his offensive lineman, giving him some time to find his open men. And now Sean Kerwood, first time we've seen him kick a point after attempt. And that point after is good. So with 5:06 left to play, it is now Chardon 28 and Riverside 7.
Well, high school sports are just a part of our programming lineup here on GTV. Coverage continues all year long for Berkshire, Cardinal, NDCL, and Chardon sports. We're starting our 26th year this fall, so check channels 1020 and 1025, as well as the GTV website, www.geaugatv.org, regularly for replay dates and times. And don't forget the community and school bulletin board services provided 24 hours a day on GTV 1020 and 1025. Check www.geaugatv.org for details.
Well, Beavers, try as they might in this game, they finally get one in the end zone. You like the effort that you're seeing out of these young men from Painesville Township.
Yeah, absolutely. They played hard tonight, and it just, it's one of those things where you're facing a good team like Chardon, and you play the game really hard, you play well, you're doing things you want to do, but they still pull away from you. It's so frustrating. It's what good teams do, as the Hilltoppers take a timeout here.
They need to get themselves with the right personnel out on the field for this kickoff. Of course, Dave Boris and Mitch Hewitt go back quite a few years, 16 to be exact. We were talking with Coach Boris about that prior to the game, and he was reminiscing about his time here as a defensive coordinator under Jim DePofi. And Mitch Hewitt was up in the box as a coach, fresh out of college, was teaching here at the time, and was essentially radioing or on the system, always communicating with Dave. And then a couple years later, Dave leaves to become the coach at West Geauga, took Mitch with him as his defensive coordinator. And then eventually Dave left for Riverside, brought Mitch with him. And Mitch was there only 1 year, of course, coming back to Chardon after Jim DePofi left. And since then, boy, it has been a great rivalry between the two friends. And it's very rare to see the coaches prior to the game. I mean, there's such a friendly attitude, because they really are friends, not only between the head coaches but the assistant coaches as well of these two staffs. That ball will go into the end zone and be a touchback, and a lot of respect on both sides of the field tonight.
And not only that, it's impressive that those two were together on 3 stops. I mean, clearly, Coach Boers respected what Coach Hewitt could do enough to say, I want you to come to West G with me. I want you to stay with me when I go to Riverside. So clearly a lot of respect there, too, to stick together that way.
Also want to point this out, and we said this during the opening broadcast of the season. It was Painesville Riverside who was generous enough to open up their facility to Chardon, to come down there when the turf wasn't ready here at Chardon Memorial. And it just goes to show the bond between those two Western Reserve Conference schools. Of course, Dave is the AD out there. Around the right side and heading out of bounds. That was, I believe, Pettyjohn. Actually, check that. No. That might have been Drago Vujaclia. It was.
Yeah, I would say they've cycled the second unit on offense in here, Matt, for this drive.
Will Francis, the quarterback.
Drago, a sophomore, 5'8", 160, younger brother of Zoran, and obviously the younger brother of Max, the former Hilltopper QB. Going around the right side again, nothing going there for the Hilltoppers. It was Will Francis who got the carry that time.
Loss of yards there of about 3, as that first unit defense is still out there right now for the Beavers.
Well, they still have something to play for with 4:37 left to go in this one. And down 6 individuals already. That just may be a matter of survival tonight for them, too.
That could be the case.
Topper's going to go to the left side this time, and nothing going there. Francis with the keeper again, and Toppers will face a 4th down and 9.
Well, don't forget, next football game is versus Mayfield, 7 p.m. next week, the second Western Reserve Conference game of the year. And we're still a couple weeks away, remember, from that non-conference tilt at New Philadelphia on October 2nd. But we got Mayfield next week. GTV's coverage will be audio only, so tune into channel 1025 to catch the scoreboard and hear the play-by-play.
Tagger will come out and he will punt the football. We've seen him do that a number of times tonight. Good snap. Fair catch call for at the 47. That's where Riverside will come back out and start the offense with 3:15 to go in this game.
Well, this is going to be a good way to start WRC play. Good win over a good rival for the Hilltoppers. And, you started talking about it, Matt. You got Mayfield next week who, maybe to start their off to, maybe it looks like it might be a down year for the Wildcats. But, Kenston, Willoughby South, those are going to be some fun contests later on the conference slate. And, of course, a game against New Philadelphia, a good program, going to be a lot of fun as well as we head into this next stretch of football.
Yeah, the only thing about that game that won't be fun is a 3-hour drive down there.
It's true.
I've been told construction on set was at 77 is awful going through Akron-Canton. In the backfield and getting the stop there for the Hilltoppers was Zach Fay. This is, by the way, the 60th meeting between the two schools. Chardon, 31-27-1. They lead the series, so about to embark on 32 wins in this one.
And it'll be their 7th win in the last 8 seasons here, as Mitch Hewitt has really done a good job against his former mentor here.
Maloney, quick pass out near side, caught. Making his way across midfield is Dylan Lulo.
Pass is complete to Dylan Ludlow. Zach Fan, stop.
First time we see Lulo get involved in the action there.
Score of interest. Final score.
Maloney is out there at quarterbacks.
Catholic 34-0.
Yeah, 2-1 no matter what the score is. He's the guy in this 4th quarter. Going to pitch it out right side. 45 down to the 40, now 35. Close to the 30-yard line. That was Jason Mackey. We saw the sophomore have a couple nice runs earlier in this contest.
Yeah, he was first quarter, and then he kind of disappeared. So he comes up here with another big run in the 4th quarter to move the chains for the Beavers.
Well, not quite the change of pace back, but when Dominic Tromba needs a little bit of a rest, that's who they go to. And Tromba does not like to come out of the field, or come off the field, I should say. Maloney claps his hands, will hand it off to Mackey, trying to cut her on the right side, and he will get to about the 27-yard line where he's taken out of bounds.
Looked like it was Charlie Brock who got in there to make the initial contact and get the stop.
Officials going to say he was actually taken down before he went out of bounds, so the clock will continue to run. Minute 20 and counting here in this one. Boy, Hilltoppers on the brink of going 4-0, keeping the winning streak alive.
And like I said, they're a confident group. They know they're going to win, and they find a way to do it. Tough first half against Glenville, bounce back, end up winning 28-14. Survived that onslaught last week against Ursuline, win by 9. Tough first half offensively again, and They're up 28-7 now with less than a minute left.
Maloney right side toward the end zone, incomplete. I'd add there that they were able to survive the week 2 furnace that was that Saturday game.
That's true. They dominated Bucknell, but they had to fight through probably the hottest football game I've ever covered in my life in order to do that.
The one thing that stands out at that game was something Mitch Hewitt said after the game to his team, and that was to thank the bus drivers because, that can be a little shovel pass near side to Mackey. He's trying to cut it left, gets a few yards off of it, but Coach Hewitt said, make sure you thank the bus drivers because this might be the smelliest ride home they've ever had.
Yeah, it had to be the smelliest ride in Chardon football history, that's for sure.
Not much, 95 degrees. I mean, look, it is what it is.
And it is a big win for the Hilltoppers this evening to start WRC play.
Indeed it is. Clock winding down here. And the Hilltoppers survive a first half scare from Riverside. They move to 4-0 on the year. And they've got an intriguing matchup with Mayfield next week. With that, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we will send it down to the field for Coach Mitch Hewitt.
I think about all those youth things. It didn't go away a lot of times. Just wait. Let the Hilltopper culture take over. It's a tight game. We have a lot of things to fix to get better on. But in the end, it's a culture win, okay? That's why we do the things we do. Good job.
So, listen, I love and I respect you. I hope you have that same love and respect for me to know that when I tell you something, when I tell you they hate you and they're going to play as hard as they possibly can, and that we got to match that. You got to believe us. You got to trust us. That's what type of game it's going to be. Are we good going forward? Yes, sir. So when we go next week to Mayfield, they have that same hatred for us. So we got to match Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Are we clear? Yes, sir. All right. Good job tonight. Good win.
Thank you, sir. Where's Landon? Yeah, we got right.
How about this, Chardon Hilltopper?
Hey, I would say again, we've been saying it all night. Take a look around. This is a special place, fellas. If you need motivation on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get better, take a picture tonight and remember it when things get hard. Offensively, I'm going to try to stay positive right here and say that there's a lot of stuff that we got to get better at. Do you agree? Like, you agree? Like, we're on board with that? Defensively, we might be as good as last year. Might be better than last year. And that's saying a lot. But from here on out, we had great non-conference wins, but now, it's like we've said all week, these teams know us. They know us and they hate us. But I'm telling you, at the end of the game, character matters. I'm telling you, what you do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night matters. And all you JV guys who want to get reps, you're going to start getting reps. So live right, don't screw it up. Because a lot of people depend on you to do the right things. A lot of people, look around. It matters, fellas, it matters. I like being 4-0 and so should you. There were some great performances. We got a kid here who thought he was going to be the starting quarterback, filled in, middle linebacker tonight. It's a pretty good effort. We got a lot of great stories here. We got, Chaos, where are you at? I just saw you up there on the golf team, like, there's two pictures of you crushing people, right? So, we got to get better. We made too many mistakes. Pump block is, we're going to get better at pump block, okay? But enjoy the night. Celebrate with your fan base. Take care of mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, and everyone who came out and supported you. And we'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. See you breaking down.
Welcome back, everyone. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke, as we wrap up this one. And Ryan, what a night for Chardon.
Yeah, it's hard not to be impressed with these Hilltoppers because although it wasn't the same adversity as last week, they battled through adversity again. Their offense was struggling to get going, but they still find a way to not only get that offense going late, but the defense again, play after play, making those big stops, those pass breakups, a couple more interceptions for them, a defensive touchdown again for them. So this Hilltopper team continues to show, Matt, that they can battle through adversity as they get to 4-0.
Thanks tonight going out to our cameramen, including Spencer, Chris Graw, and our producer tonight, our director, Brian Foster. Also thanks out to executive producer Dave Jevnikar and the man back at home, Brett, who's keeping us up and running as well. I'm Matt Jaworski. On behalf of my partner, Ryan Radke, we wish you all the best. We'll see you next week, folks.